I think it's worth acknowledging that we all feel that this time is different. So why now? Why is the time right for a certification program? Really, the killing of George Floyd last year, and I think the Me Too movement prior to that, has sparked a new awareness and a wave of activism for social and economic inclusion. And again, Canadians, like many of us around the world, are demanding that companies and governments do more to guarantee that no person is excluded from opportunity and advancement by virtue of their race or their ethnicity or their gender or their ability, their Indigenous status, their sexual orientation, or really any other immutable characteristic.
So as we strive to make the city more inclusive for all Torontonians, the Diversio certification, I think, is confirmation that we are moving in the right direction, that we have a solid foundation to continue to work on going forward, which I will tell you as mayor, I am committed to seeing us do. And I know that Chris Murray, our city manager, feels the same way. And of course, Homo, who is his, senior most person in making all that happen. And I think that will help us build trust, yes, from our employees, but more broadly, it'll help us to build trust from all of the residents of the city and inspire confidence in residents and in businesses in the city that the city itself is developing strategies to meet these goals, but also that they can do the same thing. If we can do it, there's no reason that they can't do it out across the city in a broader context.
So look, I think we're like many other organizations, we really don't have the data historically to ensure that change is happening in our organizations. We've completed surveys in the past. However, they've not really provided a large enough data set to be relied upon. So we're really at the beginning of the journey. And that indeed is why we're partnering with Diversio to engage more effectively with our complete team and engage, with our teams.
And I think that at the end of the day, measuring for inclusion it's tough, right? And I think the data that Diversio gives us is that it helps us tell that story and gives us the proper KPIs and to give us suggestions and measurements on how we could focus and target. And then, being transparent with the data is another big thing. And we want to make sure that we're all working together to collectively work towards that inclusion goal.
And then with Diversio, having created our benchmark, we've used the recommendations as a way to remain accountable at the top of the house, to be saying, what are the things that we can do to make this better? So again, it's not just about creating a pledge and throwing a couple of speakers on the speaking circuit at the company and going, great. It's really like, we need to go all the way down, look at our policies, really challenge all of those pieces and the recommendations that Diversio gave us to really create lasting change. So employees need to speak up and really keep their leaders focused on what's important and what's out there.
As like with any strategy, we think of I&D as a clear business strategy. So we use data to drive both short and long-term ambitions and goals and targets and monitor and assess that over time. And the work that Diversio has done, particularly in this environment, has helped us really identify where to put certain interventions across our workforce, and particularly, for example, how COVID has impacted women and the BIPOC community in particular, in terms of the impact on their lives and ways of working. So the data has really helped us get much more targeted across the dimensions of level and spectrum of people and diversity. And we've taken that to heart, and we've acted accordingly.
What gets measured gets managed, right? So we started our journey with Diversio in 2019, and we really needed an understanding of the broad, both the width and the depth of the diversity picture at Interac. And the Diversio team and the survey really allowed us to get a better understanding of that. And with that knowledge and knowing, allowed us to build programming with intentionality. I think one of the key things with data, it allows you to build intentional programming, right? That you're able to measure, and the depth allows you to measure employee engagement.
The most important thing, and I caught a little bit of this on the previous panel, and that is to really recognize that we're all on a journey, and that part of being on that journey means that the bar has been raised on this topic and what would be expected of you over the last 5 years. Things that would have been table stakes, things would have been commended a few years ago were table stakes now.
People around the world are really holding companies' feet to the fire, and they're going on Glassdoor, they're going on websites, they're looking at photos of executive teams and really calling out those that aren't authentic. And so I think we're all feeling, look, the moment is now. Ultimately, consumers, employees, citizens of cities like Toronto are really calling on organizations, companies, public sector organizations as well, to take the lead and use data, use targets, be transparent, make a commitment, and ultimately ensure that, I think we all believe this is not a one and done, but ensure that they are making that continued progress to create a world where everybody has equal opportunity. And ultimately, I'm sure as you all have seen, create a more vibrant community where really more people want to go and more people enjoy the diversity of perspectives and thought that comes with having a more inclusive workplace.